right, everybody. This is Shawn Cressman. I'm the Bald Eagle Podcast. I'm sorry, I'm the Bald Eagle, and you're watching the Bald Eagle Podcast. Rough start. Okay, so this is the Bald Eagle Podcast. I am Shawn Cressman. I am the Bald Eagle, and this is a 100% Philadelphia Eagles podcast, dedicated 100% to the Eagles. You know, we talk about some NFL things because some NFL things affect the Eagles, right? So that kind of makes sense. Now, my podcast is not without its rules, okay? And I follow them very strictly. First rule, most important rule to me, and I hope you guys like it, is no politics, right? So rule number one, don't ever talk about any politics. The only exception to any of my rules would be if it had some impact on the game. Politics never has. I mean, I guess you could sort of say that COVID was somewhat political, but that's about as close as we got. And we really didn't even talk about COVID, not really in that much detail. So only how it affected the new rules. Rule number two, no personal information. One of the things that I hated the most, I still do, about a lot of the pregame shows, specifically, I watch the Fox NFL pregame, and the thing that is the most annoying to me is that they sit there and they bring on a player and they tell you all about the player's past and their family and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear any about that stuff. So you won't hear anything personal on my show about me because I don't really think you guys care. I wouldn't, and not about any of the players either. So I don't care what they do in their off season, if they get married, if they have kids, they buy construction equipment. It doesn't matter to me. And lastly, I'm not censored. I say whatever I want. Like I say things like fuck, and maybe you don't want your kids around for that. Now, the thing that makes my podcast special to me, and hopefully to all the listeners and watchers, is that the Bald Eagle Podcast is your home for the most in-depth play-by-play analysis. Nobody else goes in detail of every other play like I do of every game, to my knowledge. There's the asterisk. I'm not aware of anybody that does it. So maybe somebody's out there doing it, but probably not nearly as well as I am, right? All right, let's get into it. Beer with the birds. All right, every show I like to drink a beer. I'm not a big beer drinker in general, but I thought, hey, why not experiment with different types of beers? I'm, of course, starting with Philadelphia breweries. And so we started with Yards. We went to Victory, which was Downingtown, not necessarily in Philadelphia. Now we're on Evil Genius Brewing Company. The beer that I'm going to drink today is the Evil Genius. Let me pull it up here. The Evil Genius New Phone Who Dis. It is a caramel macchiato porter. So kind of an interesting taste to a beer. According to Evil Genius's website, it is a caramel coffee kick in the crotch, dark and toasty, rich and roasty. Our winter seasonal porter is brewed with dark, sweet malt and infused with natural caramel flavoring and locally roasted Saxby's coffee. Your favorite espresso beverage is now your favorite adult beverage. 6% alcohol by volume, and that's all we got. So if you have a chance, if you listened to last week's episode, you knew I was going to drink this, and maybe you went to your local, brewer, I don't know, distributor or whatever. I'm fortunate to live in the Lehigh Valley, so there's an awesome place, rated number 1 in the country, I guess, for different types of breweries. It's called Shangy, so it was easy for me to get a bunch of Evil Genius beer. Hopefully it's as easy for you, and you have one with you, and we're enjoying it together, right? I always like to say go Birds, which, by the way, I started saying before the season started, so the Eagles took that from me. So grab your Evil Genius New Phone Who Dis Caramel Macchiato Porter right there, Instagram, and enjoy. That absolutely has a caramel coffee taste. That's pretty good. Now, again, if you like drinking with me, or just like drinking in general, and I enjoy drinking with you guys. I mean, what's better than drinking beer and talking football, right? So next week, I will be drinking the Evil Genius #Adulting, which is a guava IPA. So again, if you are, I guess, in the area, or if you have a local beer distributor that carries mini microbreweries or whatever you want to call Evil Genius, they're not a huge one, right? Go get yourself an Adulting, a 6-pack, a case, a single, whatever you can get, and save it for next Wednesday when we drink together. All right? All right. So that's the end of that segment. Let's get to our Bald Eagle countdown. I like to count down to something, and then I'll list all the other things we're going to count down to. Of course, during the season, right, it's pretty obvious what we're going to count down to. In 4 days, we play the Detroit Lions at Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan. That is Sunday, October 31st at 1 p.m. Now, we are currently 2-5. We are tied for second, third, and last place in the NFC because we're all 2-5. And I'll tell you how we got there. Started off the season great. On September 12th at 1 p.m., we beat the Falcons 32-6. That made us 1-0. Week 2, we lost to the 49ers 11-14. That made us 1-1. Week 3 on Monday Night Football, pretty embarrassing. We lost to the Cowgirls 41-21. That made us 1-2. Week 4, we lost to the Chiefs 42-30. Made us 1-3. Week 5, we got our second win of the season. Beat Carolina 21-18. Week 6, we lost on Thursday Night Football to the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 28-22. Much closer game than I would have expected. That made us 2-4. And then last week, this most recent past Sunday, we lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, 33-22. That made our record 2-5. Current NFC East standings: Cowgirls. I dare not say the cow other word. It's always Cowgirls. They are in the lead of the pretty sizable lead at 5-1. They had a bye this past week, which I think is great because now they have a long stretch before getting into the playoffs, which opens them up for sure they were able to heal the last week, but that opens them up for injuries for the next few weeks, which I would much rather be healthy going into the playoffs than healthy coming out of the beginning of the season. Anyway, so they're leading the NFC East 5-1. Probably every betting man's odds to win our division. Washington, us, and the New York Giants are all tied at 2-5. Washington technically is in second place because they have the better division records. We're in third, and the Giants are in fourth. The Giants are the only one that won this past week, so they're 2-5. Week 8. This coming weekend, right? We have a Sunday, October 31st, 1 p.m. at Detroit. Now, we're going to skip over our schedule for a second. The next deadline to be aware of is next Tuesday, the 2nd, at noon Eastern time is the trade deadline. So if you were hoping that we would trade for somebody, I don't know who you would want, but we have to do it before noon Tuesday, the 2nd. Then week 9 starts Sunday, November 7th, 4:05. We play the Chargers at home. Week 10, Sunday, November 14th, we play Denver in Denver, 4:25 p.m. Week 11, Sunday, November 21st, 1 p.m. at home against the Saints. Week 12, Sunday, November 28th, 1 p.m. at the New York Giants. Week 13, Sunday, December 5th, 1 p.m. at the New York Jets, so back-to-back games at the Meadowlands. Week 14, the latest bye in the NFL, along with a handful of other teams. Colts, Dolphins, and Patriots. Week 15 is a to-be-determined game. It should either be, I'm assuming it's going to be Sunday the 19th. Not sure what time. I guess it could be Saturday. That's what it says, to be determined. But we play Washington at home. And we are one of 5 games that are to be determined that week, so I'm not sure what's going on. Week 16, Sunday, December 26th, 1 p.m. at home against the Giants. Week 17, Sunday, January 2nd, 1 p.m. at the Washington football team. And week 18, Sunday, January 9th, 1 p.m. at home against the Dallas Cowgirls. Hey, what's going on, Ryan? Thanks for watching/listening. Okay, I mentioned that we have a week 14 bye. Dallas just had their bye week 7. Washington has their bye next week, and the Giants have theirs the following week 10. Postseason, the wild card weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday, January 15th, 16th, and 17th is going to be the first time we have a primetime game in the wild card. A weekday game, actually, because sometimes the games are at night, right, on a Saturday or Sunday. Divisional playoffs, Saturday, Sunday, January 22nd, 23rd. Championship games are Sunday, January 30th. And then Super Bowl 2056 is February 13th, 2022 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Okay, so let's do a quick draft recap. I like to do this just again to remind you who we drafted and also to remind you who we have. And there's been a slight change with a recent trade that we made with the Jets, right? So we now have, and I think I said 11 last week, and I'm going to correct myself. We had 10 because I didn't count the fact that we lose one of our 6-rounders. But now we have 11. So if I said 11 last week, I was right. I could predict the future. Go Birds. So now we have 11 picks in the 2022 NFL Draft. We have 2 first-rounders. One of those is from Miami, so the worse that Miami does, the better that picks become. So let's just keep hoping they keep losing. We have 2 second-rounders. Now, one of those second-rounders is from the Colts, can become and is on track to become another first. So we, as of today, are on track to have 3 first-round draft picks. And if we keep playing shitty, we're going to have 2 really high ones. We have a 3rd rounder, a 4th rounder, 3 fifth rounders. We have 2 6th-rounders. One of those can become a 5th if Joe Flacco plays 50% of the snaps in at least 4 games with the Jets. And then one of those 6th-rounders, we have an additional 6th-rounder, and that one leaves. That goes to Jacksonville for Gardner Minshew. However, that can become a 5th if he plays 50% of the snaps in 3 games this year. That has become increasingly more likely now that he is a second-string quarterback. And our third-string quarterback was an undrafted free agent with no playing time. So Gardner Minshew is solidly our second stringer. So heaven forbid something happens to Hurts, he's going to get playing time. As a reminder, the most recent draft, wave to people on the gram. The most recent draft, we had 9. Our first round draft pick, 10th overall, was Devontae Smith, from a wide receiver from Alabama. Round 2, 37th overall, Landon Dickerson, center from Alabama. Round 3, 73rd overall, Milton Williams, defensive tackle from Louisiana Tech. Round 4, 123rd overall, Zech McPherson, corner from Texas Tech. Round 5, 150th overall, Kenneth Gainwell, running back from Memphis. Round 6, 189th overall, Marlon Tuipulotu, defensive tackle from USC. Round 6, 191, first overall, Teron Jackson, defensive end from Coastal Carolina. Round 6, 224 overall, Jacoby Stevens, linebacker safety from LSU, only draft pick to not make the active roster. And round 7, 234 overall, Patrick Johnson, outside linebacker from Tulane. And we did draft a handful of sign a handful of undrafted free agents, but Jack Stoll, tight end from Nebraska, was the only one who hung around and actually is seeing some playing time. Okay, let's get to the most in-depth play-by-play analysis anywhere. Okay, so we played the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium this past Sunday. They won the coin toss. They deferred. We received. They kick off. We start the game 1st and 10 on our 33. Hurts in the shotgun, throws a pass to the right to Devontae Smith. He had good protection. It was a quick, accurate pass. But Smith, who struggled against the Raiders, dropped it. So that drop brings up 2nd and 10 on our 33. We run Sanders to the left for 3 yards. On top of that, there was defensive holding. So we get 1st and 10 on our 41. We run Sanders to the left for 5 yards again. Offensive line does a great job blocking for him, opens up holes. 2nd and 5 on our 46. Hurts runs play action, has good protection, throws a quick, accurate pass to an open Goddard for 24 yards. Good play. Brings up 1st and 10 on the Raiders 30. Run Miles Sanders to the left for 9 yards. Offensive line again does a great job blocking, open up in a hole for him. Brings 2nd and 1 on the Raiders 21. We run Miles Sanders to the left. Offensive line, which if you've watched games and analyzed them or even listened to my podcast, offensive line does a great job run blocking, but they just struggle a little bit, especially against this team, in the pass blocking. We had Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson struggled on the tackles. So, but good offensive line blocking for Miles Sanders in the beginning. He gets another 7 yards. Brings up 1st and 10 on the Raiders 14. We run Miles Sanders to the left for 1 yard. They were able to bottle him up. 2nd and 9 on the Raiders 13. Hurts in the gun. Drops back. No one's open. He dumps it off to Gainwell underneath. Gainwell's able to squeeze into the end zone. It was a good pass, good decision. Nobody was open, so he dumped it off. So overall, a great drive by the Eagles to open up the game. Gave everybody, including I'm certainly including me, that some optimism that maybe the changes that they had planned on making were going to work. So that makes the score. We kicked the extra point. We're successful. That makes the score 7-0. That was an 8-play, 67-yard drive. It took 3 minutes and 59 seconds off the clock. We kick off. Raiders get the ball 1st and 10 on their 25 with 11:01 left in the first quarter. They run Jacobs up the middle for 1 yard. TJ Edwards on this play does an excellent job blocking the hole. Stops him for 1 yard. Brings up 2nd and 9 on the Raiders 26. Carr in the shotgun. We bring 4. Can't get pressure, which we were unable to do almost the whole game. Carr looks off Epps, causing him to go left, leaving Moreau wide open. He throws an easy pass and catch for 12 yards. You know the deal, right? The whole defensive strategy through this game even has been to be extremely soft in zone, essentially giving everybody the the routes underneath, the routes that are 4 or 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, dump it off, and then by the time we tackle the guy, if we tackle him, the first man that gets to him tackles him, we're talking at least 6, 7, 8 yards of a gain. Because we're so far behind, we're so far away from him. And it's been extremely successful in preventing long plays, but clearly not successful in winning games, which is way more important, right? Okay, so after that short pass to the left for 12 yards, brings up 1st and 10 for the Raiders on their 38. They throw another pass to the left. We bring 4, no pressure, soft zone. On 1st and 10, they get 4 yards. Brings up 2nd and 6 on their 42. They run Jacobs to the left for 5 yards. Brings up 3rd and 1 on their 47. They run Engel to the left for 1 yard. He's their fullback, one of the handful of teams that uses a fullback, which seems to be pretty valuable, in my opinion. And then they got 1st and 10 on their 48. Carr is under center. We bring 5. We can't get any pressure even with 5 men. No one's open. Carr scrambles to his right. Nobody gets open. He runs out of bounds. Fortunately, he only gets 2 yards. Brings up 2nd and 8 on midfield. They run Jacobs up the middle for 3 yards. Brings up 3rd and 5 on our 47. Carr's in the gun. He drops back. We bring 5. Avery runs an inside stunt, has a free shot at Carr. Their left guard, Simpson, has to reach out and hold him to prevent him from getting to Carr, who quickly dumps it off to Richard. Great play by the defensive line, and good job forcing an offensive holding penalty. So after that penalty, it is 3rd and 15 on the Raiders' 43. Gun in the shotgun again. We bring 4. Can't get pressure. Carr has all day to wait for an open receiver. Jones is working on Nelson, who has decent coverage. Carr's pass is placed well. Jones is able to jump up and catch it. Nelson doesn't turn around, can't make a play on the ball. That's a 43-yard toss. So, not bad coverage, just, no real, play on the ball. It seems like a lot of corners in the NFL now, they avoid turning around to try and make a play on the ball, and they're more in favor of focusing on the receiver and then trying to knock it out when he catches it, which I don't think is a successful. I don't know how successful it is, and I guess it varies player to player, but it was unsuccessful. It's unsuccessful for us. We're not successful with defending the pass. So after that 43-yard pass, it's 1st and 10 on our 14. Carr in the shotgun again, throws a screen to the left to Moreau. Maddox does an excellent job shedding his block. He was being blocked by wide receiver Renfro. He makes a tackle, and it's a 1-yard loss. So good play by Maddox, who's had a handful of good plays. He's still not the best coverage guy, but does well coming up and hitting people. So 2nd and 11 on our 15. Carr in the shotgun again. Throws to the right to Jacobs. We bring 4. Sweat is able to bull rush Parker, who has to hold him to prevent him from getting to Carr, who's able to complete the pass to an open Jacobs, even though Sweat's in his face. But again, offensive holding. So that brings it 2nd and 21 on our 25. Carr in the gun again. We bring 4. Can't get pressure. Nelson is man on Renfro. Gives him a good big 5-yard cushion. Throws it over the middle to Renfro, a 16-yard completion on 2nd and 1, brings up 3rd and 5 on our 9. Carr's in the gun, he drops back. We bring 4. Hargrave bull rushes their left guard Simpson. Inside, then releases, putting pressure on Carr, who rolls right, dumps it off to Richard, but the pass is behind Richard, who was open, and he reaches to catch it with his right arm. It's tipped in the air. Maddox is right there to grab it, and we get an interception and prevent the score. They were on the 9, so odds are that was at least a 3-point interception. Not the best coverage, but good job at being in the right spot, right, at the right time. So that turnover brings it, we get 1st and 10 on our 4 with 4:39 left in the first quarter. Hurts in the gun again, play action, has good protection. There's a quick, accurate throw over to pass to Smith, who drops it. So second drop in a row for Devontae Smith. Not, being upstaged by Jamar Chase right now, right? Jamar Chase is the top receiving rookie in the league, right? Quickest guy to get to 700 yards or something in his first 7 games, or the most yards in the first 7 games. Not that we should have taken him, right? Because Burrow is a little more tenured, right, than Hurts. But anyway, so that incompletion brings up 2nd and 10 on our 4. Hurts in the gun again, has good protection. There was a quick, accurate pass to Devontae Smith. This time he catches it for 8 yards. The outside receiver is Sanders. He runs deep. Smith cuts right, which is outside, creating nice space and separation. So good route, good play for 8 yards. So that brings up 3rd and 2 on our 12. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back. He's looking left, feels their defensive end Crosby bull rush Lane Johnson into him, so he scrambles right. Now, if he had stood in the pocket, Smith was open over the middle. When he turns the corner, Goddard's open. He could dump it off. But instead, he keeps the ball, lowers his shoulder, and gets hit by Perryman and Littleton, which, it's a first down. But you know me. I don't want my quarterbacks to run. Not that I don't want them to run at all. I don't want them to run often, and I don't want them to lower their shoulder and hit other players when they run because they're not used to getting hit, and they're generally not. They're much more fragile than the average player. So gets a first down, but I would have preferred him dump it off to Goddard or even stood in the pocket and thrown it to Smith. So that brings up 1st and 10 on our 17. Hurts in the gun again. He runs to the left for 7 yards. It was a planned run. Brings up 2nd and 3 on our 24. Miles Sanders up the middle for 5 yards. Brings up 1st and 10 on our 29. Hurts in the gun again. Throws a screen to Miles Sanders. Now, Sanders didn't do anything wrong necessarily. He followed his blockers. You're supposed to picture your Miles Sanders and you see guys out in front of you. You're supposed to follow the backs of your blockers, right? Because that makes sense, right? That means you're putting yourself in between. You're putting a blocker in between you and the defender. Now, and he goes the right way. He follows his blockers. However, if his vision would have been a little bit better outside. Inside to the left, he's got a ton of space. If he just happens to see it, plants his right foot and goes, I'm not sure how many yards he would have gotten, but significantly more than losing 3. Unfortunately, he goes outside, follows his blockers, and Perryman's able to cut through the blockers and tackle him for a 4-yard loss. And on top of that, Miles Sanders was injured on this play, which is, in my opinion, devastating because we actually started running the ball, and I think he's one of the best backs in the league. I've said it almost every podcast, and now we don't have him. All right, so that brings up 2nd and 13 on our 26. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back. Initially good pressure, but their defensive end, Ngakui, and I'm going to guess at that name probably 10 times throughout the podcast, gets around Malata, who had a rough game, hits Hurts' arm as he's throwing. The ball is short, falls to the ground. Should have been intercepted, but Littleton drops it. So fortunately, that falls incomplete. That brings up 3rd and 13 on our 26. Hurts in the gun again, throws a screen to Gainwell. Ngaku, if I'm saying that right, goes right around Malata again, untouched, able to knock the ball down. Malata doesn't even chip. Malata just goes straight out to the second level trying to block for Gainwell. But what's the point? What's the point of blocking if you're not going to chip Ngaku, their defensive end, and let him run in and disrupt the pass? So after that incompletions, 4th and 13 on our 26, we punt. Raiders get the ball 1st and 10 on their 28 with 54 seconds left in the first quarter. Carr drops back, throws a pass short right to Ruggs. We bring 4, no pressure. Slade does a good job with an open field tackle right after Ruggs catches the ball, limits the gain to 2 yards. Brings up 2nd and 8 on the Raiders 30. Carr is in the gun again. I'm sorry, he's not in the gun. He's under center. Play action. Carr rolls right. We're unable to get any pressure. Renfro has a step on Eric Wilson, throws a quick, accurate pass for 8 yards, and that is the end of the quarter. Go Birds. So the second quarter begins, 1st and 10, Raiders on their 38. Carr under center, drops back. We bring 4. We are unable to get pressure. I don't actually think, we got a little bit of pressure, but no, I don't think we had any sacks. Coverage is good downfield. Carr dumps it off to Jacobs underneath, who runs for 8 extra yards. We're in that great soft zone, so that's a 13-yard completion. Brings up 1st and 10 on our 49. Carr drops back again. Throws a screen to Moreau. Wilson and Singleton do a great job recognizing that it's a screen and tackling Moreau for no gain. It's a good play by those guys. 2nd and 10 on our 49. They run Kenyon Drake to the right. He gets 12 yards. One of the problems so you may have read it on, I don't know if you guys follow somebody Jake Berman, the guy I think he's the Inquirer. And they mentioned it. I've mentioned it. I wanted us to draft a Micah Parsons. And of course we didn't. Our biggest weakness on defense is, I don't know if I'd say our biggest, but tied for our biggest weakness is our linebackers. Especially, Singleton was actually really good last year with tackles. He was able to get through a lot of blocks and had, one of the highest tacklers in the league towards the end of last year. Not doing as well this year. We struggle to shed blocks. The reason that the majority of the running backs are able to get as many yards as they can is because their linemen are able to easily, or tight ends are able to easily come down and block us on the second level. You get our linebackers blocked, and that's a good 8+ yards almost guaranteed. And that's what happened on this play for 12 yards. So that brings up 1st and 10 on our 37. They run Drake up the middle again for 9 yards. Edwards and Taylor, the linebackers, are both blocked. Marcus Epps actually makes the tackle, and on the last one, Epps made the tackle on that one too. You should not have your safety should not be your run tacklers, right? They shouldn't have a lot of tackles. That's not really their job. So that brings up a 2nd and 1 on our 28. They run Drake to the right for 4 yards. Brings up 1st and 10 on our 24. Carr this time drops back again. We bring 4. Can't get pressure. He throws a pass to the left to Renfro for 6 yards. Brings up 2nd and 4 on our 18. Carr is under center, drops back, fakes to Jacobs. We bring 4. We cannot get any pressure. Carr throws a great pass to Moreau. He's covered really well by Epps. Epps just doesn't look around, doesn't make a play on the ball. Moreau catches it for a touchdown. So, that's a struggle. That's frustrating for me where they have good coverage, which I think is the most, obviously is the most important thing. If you're right next to the guy, right, you should have a chance. But they don't turn around. Epps doesn't turn around, doesn't make a real good play on the ball, and he gets a touchdown, and Moreau gets a touchdown right in front of him. They kick the extra point. It's good. That makes the score 7-7. It was a 9-play, 72-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 40 seconds off the clock. Tie game. So not so bad so far, right? So that brings, they kick off. We get the ball 1st and 10 on our 25 with 11:14 left in the first half. Run Gainwell up the middle for 2 yards. Brings up 2nd and 8 on our 27. Hurts is in the gun. It's a run pass option. He keeps it. Throws a quick, accurate pass to Smith, who drops it. I think that was the 3rd drop that he's had so far. It was a little behind Smith. You think to yourself, wow, it should have been a better pass. But when you look at the tape, if the pass was easier for Devontae Smith to catch, that would give their linebacker Littleton a chance to knock it down or possibly intercept it. So the way the lane that Hurts had to throw it to was accurate. It was a good throw. And to be honest with you, your 1st-round draft pick, 10th overall, Heisman winner receiver should grab those, right? That's the kind of catches he should make. That's what you're paying him for. But he doesn't. He drops it, and that brings up 3rd and 8 on our 27. We run Gainwell to the left for 7 yards. Offensive line does another good job opening a huge hole. We call our first timeout. 10:26 left in the half. 4th and 1 on our 34. Hurts runs a sneak, gets 1 yard. 1st and 10 on our 35. We run Gainwell up the middle for 1 yard. Brings up 2nd and 9 on our 36. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back, fakes to Scott. And Ngaoku gets inside Malata, forces Hurts to roll right. Hurts finds Smith wide open, throws a decent pass for 20 yards. Smith does an excellent job. This is the one where he does the toe tap, catches the ball, drags his feet, and it's a 20-yard completion. Brings up 1st and 10 on the Raiders' 44. We run Boston Scott up the middle for 4 yards. He came in to replace Miles Sanders. Not nearly, I'd be in favor of us getting rid of Scott and running Gainwell and we just protected him on the thing. Jordan. We'll talk about it later. But I would much rather have that combo than Boston Scott and Gainwell. They're not very different runners. They're very similar. Boston Scott might be a little bit thicker, right? So he might be able to hit harder. Okay, so that 1 yard run brings up that 20-yard completion brings up 1st and 10 on the Raiders 44. We run Boston Scott up the middle for 4. Brings up 2nd and 6 on the Raiders 40. We run Boston Scott to the right for 3 yards. Brings up 3rd and 3 on the 37, and Dickerson false starts. So, false starts are going to happen on occasion, right? And it sucks. But on 3rd and 3, that's one of the worst times. Any 3rd down, especially a short 3rd down. 3rd and 3 is much more manageable than what we were at 3rd and 8. So change the play, right? Because now we got to get more yards. And Hurts is in the gun. He drops back. Malata and Johnson get beat outside. Hurts tries to step up, can't, and he's sacked by guess who? Ngaoku. And it's a 7-yard loss on 3rd and 8. So we got the ball on the Raiders 49. We got a punt. Raiders get the ball 1st and 10 on their 4 with 6:04 left in the half. Carr in the shotgun. We bring 4. Don't get any pressure. We're in a zone. So Avery is covering the zone that Edwards is in. He drops Edwards to stay in his zone. Edwards gets wide open because the McLeod, can't converge fast enough. McLeod does go for the interception, so he could have been there in time maybe to knock it down, but not quite. So that was an 18-yard completion. 1st and 10 on the Raiders 22. They run Jacobs to the right for 3 yards, brings up 2nd and 7. Raiders on the Raiders 25. Carr in the shotgun again. We rush 5. We can't get to Carr in time. Slay is man on Ruggs, who runs a 10-yard hook. So a 10-yard hook or a 10-yard curl. Essentially, they go 10 to 12 yards, turn around and come towards the quarterback. Carr throws a quick, accurate pass. Of course, there's that big cushion that Slay gives. So that's an 8-yard completion, 1st and 10 on the Raiders' 33. They run Jacobs to the left for 9 yards, brings up 2nd and 1 on their 42. They throw a screen to Renfro for 10 yards, brings up 1st and 10 on our 48. They put Marcus Mariota in there, and he fakes to Jacobs. Everybody goes to the left, assuming that Jacobs has the ball. And on 1st and 10, he's able to run to the right for 4 yards. Could have gotten much more if he was faster, but he's a quarterback, right? So that brings up 2nd and 6 on the 44. Carr's in the gun again. We bring 4. No pressure. Carr throws a quick pass to Ruggs. Epps is in the perfect position, but so if Epps does nothing, he's right in the way, and the ball, he maybe even gets an interception. But I guess I don't know if he's reading Carr's eyes. I don't know where he thinks Carr's going to throw the ball because there are no receivers to his left. But he jumps left. Maybe he thought Carr was going to throw it earlier. I'm just guessing at what he was thinking. But Epps jumps left, and when he does that, Ruggs keeps running his pattern across the field to the right, to Epps' right. He's wide open, and it's a 10-yard completion on 2nd and 6. Could have been, had he just stayed put, would have made the throw significantly more difficult. Might even, if Carr passes the ball like he does after he moves, easily intercepted, at least knocked down. But just a bad play by Epps, unfortunately. So that brings up the 2-minute warning. They have the ball 1st and 10 on our 34. Carr throws a pass to the left to Jacobs. We bring 4, no pressure. They run deep routes on the left side of the field, which creates a lot of space for Carr to dump it off in the left flat for Jacobs. So Jacobs just goes out into the flat. They take all of our corners deep with them. So there's a big void there, and he goes over there, gets 6 yards. Brings up 2nd and 4 on our 28. Carr in the shotgun again, throws a screen. It's easy for me to say, right? I played, but of course I never played at this level, or podcasts would be way more popular. But our linebackers don't even recognize that it's a screen until the ball's in the air. What about all the linemen running down the field? A screen pass is real easy to recognize if you're a linebacker. Maybe not so much as a defensive lineman, because you think you just had a good play and you got around your man. Next thing you know, everybody got around their man because those guys are blocking. But if you're a linebacker and you see all your men get in and those linemen group up and start towards you, that's a screen. What do we got here? I'm guessing all those injuries are for who not to be blamed. Yeah, I'd like to. I don't know. God, I hope we beat Detroit. It'd be embarrassing. We've been embarrassed a couple other times during the season. So if we lose to Detroit, not the end of the world, but I just hope it doesn't happen. So anyway, let's get back to this screen where our linebackers, who are paid millions of dollars to recognize things like that, but don't. And for that screen, they get 20 yards on that screen because the blockers were set up, and we didn't even know it was a screen until the pass was in the air. And remember our soft zone that is 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. So by the time we recognize it, we start pursuing it. It's set up. The blocks are set up, and it's a 20-yard screen. I haven't heard any significant injury news. And the injury report isn't out for the game against Detroit yet. So, there's some people banged up, but yeah, Harris, I think for now is the one that may not play. I don't think Miles Sanders is going to play either. I think Lane Johnson with his ankle. I don't know how severe it was. I couldn't find anything that said how severe his ankle injury was, but I don't think he'll. I don't know that we're worse off if he doesn't play, because if he plays anything like if him and Mulata play anything like they did against the Raiders, it really doesn't matter. They didn't do a very good job. So, okay. So after that 20-yard screen, 1st and goal on our 8, they run Jacobs to the left. Our linebackers get caught up in blocks. He easily runs in for an 8-yard touchdown. They kick the extra point. That makes the score 14-7 in favor of the Raiders. It was a 10-play, 96-yard drive. Took 4 minutes and 26 seconds off the clock. They kick off. We get the ball 1st and 10 on our 25. 1:38 left in the half. Run Kenneth Gainwell up the middle for 4 yards, and he fumbles. Real disappointing, because I think Gainwell is, he's not on Miles Sanders level, but I think he's a great second string back. But he's got to learn how to hold on to the ball better, right? Because you can't fumble it on R25 and give them the ball. So Raiders get the ball 1st and 10 on R29, short field. Carr in the shotgun. We bring 4. Can't get pressure. dumps it off to Kenyon Drake right over the middle. Of course, he's wide open over the middle because we were in that soft zone. Easily gets 7 yards. Brings up 2nd and 3 on our 22. They run Drake this time to the left. Wilson does an excellent job shedding his block, fills the hole, and he loses 3 yards. So good play by the defense. The Raiders call their first timeout with 54 seconds left in the half. 3rd and 6 on our 25. Carr's in the gun again. We bring 4. Renfro runs an 8-yard curl. Nelson gives him plenty of cushion, as if we're not trying to stop him from scoring a touchdown. And Carr throws a quick pass, easily gets 6 yards, and a 1st and 10 on our 19. Carr in the shotgun again. Yeah. In the first quarter we did. That's one of the changes that even the announcers were talking about, is that instead of RPOing almost every play, we did dedicated runs, dedicated passes, and play action, and it was successful. Right, we were down, and so we tried to pass a lot and just to be honest with you, I wouldn't even blame Hurts for this game. Last game, Hurts struggled. Made bad decisions, threw some inaccurate passes, but he didn't do so bad this game. I would actually say our offensive line did real poorly against the Raiders, and he was under pressure often. Now, admittedly, and you'd like to think, he could have thrown the ball more quickly, but a lot of times, a lot of the receivers they were running deep routes. If he throws the ball quickly, he's throwing it to a guy that's covered or not to anybody at all. So he needed, and in some instances, he had to wait. One of the things that I would say that is probably Hurts needs to improve on a lot of things, but one of the things that I think that in my opinion his tendency is to wait or to hope for the deep play, and so I think that's hurting him. I think he's holding the ball too long. I think if he just gets a little more comfortable dumping it off more often, dropping, if he sees somebody open, just getting the ball out, especially on some of the shorter distance downs, why not? But yeah, we didn't stay with the initial game plan. And in fact, one of the things that I think is hilarious is that what we heard from Nick Sirianni is all the extra time they spent, reviewing what we had done and what had been successful in the past, during the game, and reviewing what other teams are doing that's successful. But we didn't change our defense at all. Maybe we played changed some players, right? Not really, but we still played that shitty soft zone that we're no good at. That we're giving up a higher opponent quarterback completion percentage than any other team in the league, because we're giving them every play and they just dunk it down the field, and then they run, and then they get ahead of us, because they're successful with the passes, and then they run a lot, and it makes it look like our run defense sucks because we have a lot of defensive rushing yards, but I think we're like 5th or we're 12th or whatever in the league in yards per rush. So we're really not that bad of a rush defense. It's just they rush a lot against us because they're leading in the game and they're slowing the game down. Anyway, so that 6-yard pass to Renfro brings up 1st and 10 on our 19. Carr throws a pass over the middle. Sweat beats his man outside. Cox beats his man inside. And Hargrave bull rushes his man, and Sweat hits Carr right as he's dumping it off underneath to Richard, who, of course, is open because of our soft zone. And 1st and 10, they get 5 yards. Let's see. Yeah. Well, the fumbles that I saw, so maybe he I heard that Dickerson may have hit the ball, but the fumbles that I saw, they got to Jalen Hurts. He just didn't catch them. I mean, maybe we were tipped, but they hit his hands. They hit both of his hands, the 2 fumbles. So, but yeah, we couldn't. They ran 4-man most of the time, and our tackles, Johnson, Mulata, they both struggled. And then when they brought in Dillard because Johnson got hurt, he struggled. So after that play, Raiders call their second timeout with 18 seconds left in the half. 2nd and 5 on our 14. Carr in a shotgun again. We bring 4. Can't get pressure. Drake runs into the right flat from the backfield. Carr throws it to him for a 4-yard gain on 2nd and 5. Brings up 3rd and 1 on our 10. Carr in the gun again. We bring 4. Sweat is actually able to beat their right tackle Barker. Hits Carr's arm as he releases, causing a poor throw and incomplete pass. So finally we get some pressure. Finally we stop them on 3rd down, and they have to kick a field goal. So the field goal is good. So the half doesn't end yet, but the score is 17-7. That was a 7-play, 19-yard drive with 132. It took 132 off the clock. They kick off. We get the ball with 2 seconds left in the half, and we kneel on it. So that does end the half. Go Birds. No one told me I look like Lane Johnson's brother, but I wish, Hey, maybe if he thinks I look like his brother and he watches the show, I'll get some. Maybe he'll come on the show. Lane Johnson's brother's show. Okay, so third quarter, 1st and 10. We get the ball on our 41. I'm sorry, the Raiders get the ball at the beginning of the half. 1st and 10 on our 41. They run Drake up the middle for 6 yards. Brings up 2nd and 4 on our 35. They run Ruggs to the right for 11 yards. On this play, Ruggs goes in motion left to right. Carr's under center. He hikes the ball, immediately tosses it to Ruggs. He's able to run around the right side for 11 yards. Fortunately, this is the play where he lowers his head to initiate contact and is charged with against Marcus Epps and is charged with unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty. So helps us out a little bit. That brings up 2nd and 12 on our 43. Carr under center, drops back. We bring 4, can't get pressure. This happened, I think, either once last game or twice this game. I don't recall, but it looks like everybody's in zone except for Nelson. He plays man on Renfro. So the middle right zone is wide open. Moreau goes into it, easily gets a 20-yard completion. 21-yard completion. So I don't know if that was a mistake on Nelson's part or if that was for some reason intended to double Renfro, but it ended up in a 21-yard completion. So that brings up 1st and 10 on our 22. Carr in the gun again. We bring 4. Hargrave bull rushes, causing Carr to step up and dump it off to Renfro, who runs a 5-yard out and has a good 3+ separation from Singleton. And that's a 7-yard completion on 1st and 10. The Raiders call their first timeout at 12:35 left in the third quarter. Brings up 2nd and 3 on our 15. They run Kenyon Drake up the middle. He gets 11 yards, 6 of those after contact. He actually moves the whole pile at least 3 yards. So that brings up 1st and goal on our 4. They run Drake to the right for 4 yards and is a touchdown. Extra points good, so that makes the score 24-7 in favor of the Raiders. It was a 6-play, 41-yard drive. It took 3 minutes and 12 seconds off the clock. Now it's getting real discouraging. Okay. Oh, and you know what? I missed it. I apologize. To start the third quarter, we kicked a onside kick, if you remember, and we did not get it. Their fullback Ingold caught it, which is why they started the third quarter 1st and 10 on our 41. Give them a real short field. And I don't know that that's a bad. I mean, we're down. We're down 10. I know it's a pretty aggressive call. I'm not sure that I'm against the call. I mean, I guess I'm not against it in theory, because why not try and surprise somebody? But then at the same time, our defense struggles to stop the pass. I think at one point, I forget how many straight complete. Every game you hear about the opposing quarterback setting his own personal record for completions in a row. And I think at one point, Carr was up to 16. At one point, it was like 12 for 13, 13 for 14 before he had another completion. So, I like the yeah. Almost he almost did have it. Yeah. So I don't know that it was a bad idea to go for that onside kick. I mean, it was kind of a gutsy call, and I can kind of see how it might. I mean, if it worked, it would have been amazing. But what I don't like is that our defense can't stop anybody. So I don't know that I would trust our defense enough to do something like that. Anyway, so after that touchdown, we get the ball 1st and 10 on our 23. Hurts in the gun again. RPO, he keeps it, gets 22 yards. So a good run by Hurts. Unfortunately, Malata commits a face mask penalty. It's a 15-yard penalty. So instead of 1st and 10 on the 30, we have 1st and 16 on our. 1st and 10 on the 45. We have 1st and 16 on our 17. We run Boston Scott to the left for 5 yards. Brings up 2nd and 11 on our 22. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back. Arthego-Whiteside's open to the right flat. Boston Scott's open over the middle, but Hurts is looking deep. Neither route is open. Neither of the deep routes are open. He has great protection, but eventually he rolls right, pump fakes to Arthego-Whiteside and keeps it, and gets 8 yards on 2nd and 11. Again, glad he got 8 yards, but would have much preferred him throw the ball instead of running it. So that brings up 3rd and 3 on our 30. We get a delay a game. Shitty penalty. 3rd and 3. I mean, a big difference between 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 8. I said it last time. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because everybody, the announcers are always talking about, our run defense is poor, our run defense is poor. But when you think about it, a lot of times in the game, the Raiders, when they needed short distance on 3rd down, instead of running, they pass because they know we're going to give them that 5 yards. We're going to give them an easy 5 to 7 yard completion. Okay, so that delay of game penalty brings it from 3rd and 3, which is manageable, to 3rd and 8, which is much more difficult. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back. They bring 5. Initially, we do a good job picking it up, but Crosby gets around Lane Johnson, forcing Hurts to step up in the pocket. As he does, he was 31 for 34. It was over 90% completion. Yeah. As he steps up, their defensive tackle Thomas gets inside Dickerson, tackles Hurts. As Hurts is falling, he throws the ball to Gainwell, who's hit immediately and drops it. So, a decent attempt to try and get the yardage. But I didn't look, and I should have. I didn't look at the routes that were being run. I don't know that Hurts had that much time. But we got 3rd and 8. The routes need to be deep enough for us to get a first down, but they don't need to be so deep that he can't throw a quick pass on the outside or something like that. In addition to that incomplete pass, Kelsey was penalized for unsportsmanlike conduct. So we have 4th and 20 on our 13. We punt. Raiders get the ball 1st and 10 at midfield with 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Carr in the shotgun. Again, we bring 4. Can't get any pressure. It looks like Nelson's playing man again while everyone else is in zone. The zone he's responsible for is the right side, wide open. Richard catches the ball on the left-hand side, 9-yard completion. 2nd and 1 on our 41. Carr in the shotgun again. They throw a screen to Moreau, 10 yards. Brings up 1st and 10 on our 31. Carr in the shotgun again. We bring 4. No pressure. We're in zone. Their trips left. Epps cheats to the left to cover the trips. Edwards run past the linebacker level to the right under Epps. No one's there to cover him. Easy 24-yard completion. From Carr to Edwards. Brings up 1st and goal on our 7. Carr drops in the gun again. He drops back. We bring 4. Can't get any pressure. Carr throws a pass behind his receiver, and it falls incomplete. So one of the few incomplete passes that he threw. And it wasn't a good one. So not that he was covered, just a poor pass. Brings up 2nd and goal on our 7. They run Richard to the left for 1 yard. Brings up 3rd and goal on our 6. Carr in the gun again. We bring 4. Sweat bull rushes their right tackle Parker into Carr as he's throwing, causing the ball to be a little high. Renfro runs out an out pattern, has a step on Maddox and makes a good leaping catch. Maddox does a good job immediately tackling him and preventing him from getting the first down. So not great coverage by Maddox, but good recovery by Maddox to get that tackle before the first down. I don't know that we bring back Zach Ertz. I don't know why we would. Unless he's going to retire an Eagle. That's the only thing. That's the only reason that I think Ertz would come back is if he decides to retire and wants to retire an Eagle, which I think he probably will. And I don't know if that's going to be next year, but I don't know that we bring him back. I mean, they're really high on the other tight end, Tyree Jackson. Is it? They're real high on him. He's a big, tall guy, former quarterback, so he's really smart. Yeah, Tyree Jackson. So, and I'm hopeful that Tyree Jackson does well. So I'm hopeful we don't need him. Goddard, I hope, is solid. I think he is. And I hope Tyree Jackson does as well as everyone hopes. Okay, so after that Maddox stop with 1 yard to go, it's 4th and goal on our 1. They decide to go for it. Carr is under center, drops back. Edwards is lined up to the far left with Jones inside. Edwards goes in motion. Jones drives Maddox downfield. Edwards cuts underneath with Nelson. And this play was really frustrating because they're all on the left-hand side. Jones is inside. Edwards is outside. Edwards goes in motion, right? Jones drives Maddox downfield. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Back and neck injuries are real sensitive, but it was something he was able to get up and walk away from, so it wasn't that severe. But we'll see, right? He landed. It was a diving catch. And he landed straight on his back. Hopefully, something like that doesn't happen. But you're right. I mean, he is injury prone. So, But again, I'm hopeful. I don't really know exactly what he can do, but he's a tall guy, a big guy. Something we really need. Something I wanted us to get as through free agency early on. A big tall receiver for Hurts. So I'm just trying. I'm positive about it. I'm optimistic that he does well. So we'll see. But on this play with this 1 yard touchdown pass, real frustrating. It was a good design, right? So the outside guy starts in motion from left to right. They hike the ball. Jones, the inside guy, goes deep and drives Maddox down into the end zone. Edwards, who's in motion, cuts underneath in the direction he was in motion in. Nelson just kind of stands there. And, it's frustrating because I could see the play unfolding in front of me, and Nelson just really doesn't do much about it. I don't know if he was confused. I don't know if he expected someone else to do it. He was in the end zone, so it's not like you think somebody else will tackle him and you wait to stop him so he doesn't get a large gain. He's you got to run up and hit him immediately. He doesn't though. So that was disappointing. The effort that Nelson put on that play. Exactly. That's why I wanted a big guy. Average corner in the NFL is 5'10". We get a 6'3", 6'4", 6'7" is that's a huge radius, a catch radius. And how many jump balls, right? I mean, that's almost, it's not a guarantee. But if this guy's athletic and catch the ball, I mean, I don't know if 6'7". I'm assuming he played basketball. You just throw it up to him in the corner and he outjumps everybody. So I'm excited for that to happen. I mean, I think Dallas Goedert plays a great game, and I don't want him to not have a significant role in our offense. But man, that guy could. 6'7". That's amazing. So we'll see what happens. After that 1 yard touchdown pass, they missed the extra point, so that makes the score 30-7 in favor of the Raiders. That was a 7-play, 50-yard drive. Took 2 minutes and 46 seconds off the clock. They kick off. It's a touchback. We get the ball 1st and 10 on our 25 with 6:15 left in the third quarter. Absolutely, 6'7" is absolutely basketball hype. Hurts in the shotgun again. He drops back, fakes to Scott, rolls right, throws a quick, accurate pass to a wide-open Watkins, who easily beats their linebacker Perryman. It was man coverage. Great play for 27 yards. In addition, Littleton was holding. We decline it. We still get the ball 1st and 10 on the Raiders' 48. Hurts in the gun again. RPO. He keeps it. He slides. And this is the one where Faxon hits him right as he's sliding. A controversial call, right? Because he slid late. Faxon was already trying to hit him right before he slid. But, at the same time, I'm in favor of protecting quarterbacks. So, you just got to be more careful if you're on defense. So that 15-yard penalty, unnecessary roughness, gives us the ball 1st and 10 on their 28. We got trips right. Rager's on the inside. Hurts hands off to Rager as he's in motion. He has blocking, but he cuts the opposite way of his blocking, right? If he goes left where all the blocking is pointing, he's got some room. But for some reason, he plants and cuts right, and he slips, and there's no gain. I'm going to say it now. I think we should pull Rager. I think we should either replace him with Greg Ward permanently, maybe give Hightower a shot, or that new guy that we just drafted, we just picked up. He's not real seasoned, but he's 6'4", tall, which again I don't want to get stuck on height, but really important to me. So I think we get rid of Rager. I think he's been a disappointment. He was a disappointment all last year. He's been a disappointment this year, generally speaking. So I'm in favor of getting rid of Rager and putting anybody else in and giving them a shot. So after that no gain by Rager, 2nd and 10 on the 28. Hurts in the gun again, drops back, looks left, then right, throws deep to Smith. Smith struggles to get around their corner faction, can't get open, passes too deep. Yeah, I did. I was going to, after mentioning the thing about Rager, I was wondering if some people would talk about that catch. And that's, if you look at Rager's tape, I was excited I wasn't excited because I don't, I didn't think we needed I didn't think he was going to be that good. But in college, he had a lot of contested catches, and he was successful at pulling down contested catches. I don't think he's had any. Maybe he's fast, but it just doesn't translate to the field for him. So, disappointing all around. Okay, so where are we here? So Jalen Hurts, right? Looks left, throws right, deep to Smith. Smith struggles, right? So this is the problem. This was the concern I had with Devonta Smith. I didn't care about his size as far as injuries. I cared about his size as far as fighting corners. And this is a struggle that he was in. He was going deep. Their corner was bumping him and pushing him the whole way, and he couldn't get around him. Had he gotten around him, maybe it's a deep pass completion, but he can't, and it falls incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 10 on their 28. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back, and Gaoku gets around Mulata, forcing Hurts to roll right. He finds Gainwell open, throws a pass that's slightly behind Gainwell. Gainwell gets both hands on it, so in my world, he catches it, but he doesn't. He drops it. Brings up 4th and 10 on the Raiders' 28. Hurts in the gun again. He drops back, has good protection, steps up in the pocket, throws an accurate pass to an open Goddard. Great job by the line giving him some time. Great job by Hurts stepping up in the pocket, throwing a solid ball. And, of course, a good route and catch by Goddard for 21 yards. So that brings up 1st and goal on the Raiders' 7. We run Gainwell up the middle for 6 yards. It's an RPO, and Hurts actually gives it to Gainwell, which is rare. Usually keeps it. Brings up 2nd and goal on the 1. Hurts runs a sneak. This is the one where Crosby jumps over the line and grabs Hurts to slow him down, and he's not able to get in. So it brings up 3rd and goal on the 1. Hurts is in the gun. This is the one maybe you were talking about, Julio. The one where Dickerson may have tipped it. The ball's hiked to him. The snap, maybe it was tipped, but it still hits Hurts in both of his hands. It was right to him. He tries to pick it up. It gets kicked around, and Littleton for the Raiders recovers it. So 3rd and goal on the 1, and we fumble the ball. Really disappointing. So the Raiders get it 1st and 10 on their 6. They run Drake to the left for 5 yards. Brings up 2nd and 5 on their 11. They run Drake to the right for 1 yard. Fortunately, I don't know if he's a tackle, but Leatherwood was a holding, 5-yard penalty, and replay 2nd down. So it's 2nd and 10 on their 6. Carr in the shotgun throws a screen. Singleton does an excellent job reading it, tackling Drake in the open field for a 1-yard loss. So good play by the defense. So they're stepping up a little bit after that turnover. Brings up 3rd and 11 on the Raiders' 5. They run Richards to the left. He only gets 1 yard. Eric Wilson does a good job filling the hole. Brings up 4th and 10 on their 6, and they punt. We get the ball 1st and 10 on our 41 with 8 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Hurts in the gun, runs RPO, keeps it, gets 6 yards to the left, and that ends the 3rd quarter. Go Birds. Yeah, any turnover, 3rd and 1 on the goal line, 3rd and goal on the 1. It's a real struggle that hurt, right? We start the 4th quarter, 2nd and 4 on our 47. Hurts is in the gun. He fakes to Scott, rolls right. No one's open. Now, this is easier said than done, right? But and perhaps I'm giving Hurts a little bit of leeway. I'm not in the camp that says we should trade him or that we should have started Flacco or even Minshew or any of that crazy stuff. He's got to learn how to do this stuff, but right as he starts to run, Watkins comes open. But another thing that he's got to work on is that when he decides he's going to run, he's got to keep looking downfield. Oftentimes, when Hurts decides to run, he focuses on the first down marker, the out of bounds marker. He looks down to see who he's going to juke, and when he should run to create space or to get away from defenders to throw the ball. He shouldn't always be running to run to get yards. Now, of course, I'm complaining about him not seeing Watkins and looking downfield when he runs, but he does get 4 yards on 2nd and 4, so he does get a 1st down. But again, much rather the 1st downs come in passing from him as far as instead of running. So that brings up 1st and 10 on the Raiders' 49. Hurts in the gun again, drops back, throws a deep pass to the right to Goddard. He has great protection. This one he throws, and at times he throws the ball real accurately. He throws the ball over their safety, Abram, right to Goddard. Excellent job by the line to give him good protection. Great pass by Hurts, and Goddard again, great catch and great route for 25 yards. Brings up 1st and 10 on their 24. Hurts in the gun again. They run an RPO. Hurts makes a bad decision in keeping this, even though Nassib didn't fall for the fake, right? So we know on an RPO, the quarterback is supposed to read off of the defensive end. So he looks at the defensive end when he goes to hand the ball off to, I don't know if it was, Boston Scott. And if the defensive end comes up towards him, he lets go of the ball and Boston Scott runs. And it looks like, and it's hard to say because who knows how people react if he hands it off. But it looks like Boston Scott, there was a big opening for him had he left. Boston Scott had the ball, which he should have done. But for some reason, even though Nassib had kind of field towards Hurts, he keeps it, and Nassib tackles him for only a 1 yard gain. Brings up 2nd and 9 on the Raiders 23. Hurts in the gun. He drops back, has good protection. Nobody's open. He looks left, and Scott is wide open. Could have floated a pass to him, easily gotten a first down, but he runs to the right. Again, on 2nd and 9, he gets 16 yards, so it is a first down. But again, I would have much rather him floated the ball over to Scott, and I'm confident Scott would have at least gotten a first down. I'm not sure he would have gotten 16 yards, but if Hurts floats that ball over to him, he has a significantly less chance of getting hurt. So that brings up 1st and goal on the Raiders 7. We run Boston Scott up the middle for 4 yards. If he cuts left instead of right, he might have a touchdown. But he doesn't. He doesn't. I think he actually followed his blockers on that one too, so you can't blame him. But had he cut left, if he had the vision to see that hole, who knows how many, he probably would have got a touchdown on that play. 2nd and goal from the 3, we run Boston Scott up the middle. He gets 2 yards. 3rd and goal from the 1, Boston Scott up the middle. This time he actually gets through. 1-yard touchdown. Kick the extra point. It's good. That makes the score 30-14. Raiders still winning. That was an 8-play, 59-yard drive. Took 3 minutes and 30 seconds off the clock. We kick off. 1st and 10. Raiders get it on their own 25. 11:38 left in the game. Drake runs up the middle for 2 yards. Brings up 2nd and 8 on the Raiders 27. Carr drops back to pass. Fakes to Jacobs. We bring 6. Devion Taylor falls for the fake, right? So Ingold is their fullback. He lead blocks. Taylor, and then he ends up going out into a pattern. Devion Taylor falls for the run, so he comes up ignoring fullback Ingold, trying to tackle Jacobs, but they don't give Jacobs the ball. And of course, Ingold is now 15 yards plus behind Devion Taylor. Devion Taylor realizes it's a pass, turns around, finds Ingold and guns it towards him, but isn't able to catch him until it's a 29-yard completion. So that brings up 1st and 10 on our 44. They run Drake to the left for 7 yards. Brings up 2nd and 3 on our 37. They run Drake to the right for 7 yards. The first 7-yard completion, Hargrave and Singleton complied for the tackle. So Hargrave and Singleton must have gotten downfield 7 yards, but the second 7 yards, Epps tackled him. Right, the running back shouldn't be getting to the 3rd level. 1st and 10 on our 30. They run Richard to the left for 5 yards. Epps tackles him again. Brings up 2nd and 5 on our 25. Carr in the gun again. We bring 5. He throws a short pass, a quick one to the left to Richard. Good tackle by Rodney McLeod to limit it to only a 3-yard gain. So that brings up 3rd and 2 on our 22. They run Richard to the right for 1 yard. Good job filling the hole. Good job stopping him for 1 yard on 3rd and 2. So it brings up 4th and 1 on our 21. They kick a field goal. That makes the score 33-14 in favor of the Raiders. That was an 8-play, 54-yard drive. Took 4 minutes and 21 seconds off the clock. They kick off. We get the ball 1st and 10 on our 25 with 7 minutes, 17 seconds left in the game. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back, fakes to Gainwell, running left to right. Hurts is staring at Watkins downfield. Misses Gainwell wide open in the left flat. Initially, protection is good, but since Hurts is standing around waiting for Watkins to get open, it breaks down. Jefferson and Farrell cross stunt. Mailata and Dickerson go with Farrell, giving Jefferson a free shot at Hurts. Jefferson hits Hurts as he's throwing to Watkins. The pass is overthrown. Really disappointing because Watkins was open. Had that pass been a little less deep, had Dickerson and Mailata picked up both Farrell and Jefferson, not allowed that cross stunt to mess with them, right? And a cross stunt basically is Jefferson and Farrell initially blocked, and then they swap places, and both Dickerson and Mailata crashed right to cover Farrell, which means Jefferson comes around to the left and had a free shot. So we struggled all last year with cross stunts, with all stunts, and we're carrying it over into this year, unfortunately. All right, so that incomplete brings up 2nd and 10 on our 25. Hurts in the gun again, has good protection. There was a quick, accurate throw to Gainwell, who's wide open in the left flat. He runs for 15 yards. Brings up 1st and 10 on our 40. Hurts in the gun again. Good protection. There's a quick, accurate throw to Devontae Smith for 20 yards. He runs a good 12-yard curl, comes back, catches it, gets a couple extra yards after the catch. So play by all around. Brings up 1st and 10 on the Raiders 40. Hurts in the gun again, has good protection. Throws over the middle Gainwell, but it's behind him. and it falls incomplete. Bad pass. So, first time, right, that I've said that it was an inaccurate pass. When Hurts threw it to Watkins, who was open, he got hit, right? So it threw him off. So not a horrible game so far. Not a horrible game at all for Hurts when you look at each play. So that incompletion brings up 2nd and 10 on the Raiders' 40. Hurts in the gun again. He has good protection. Misses Rager wide open to the right and misses Goddard wide open over the middle. Throws one over the middle to Gainwell for 7 yards. Brings up 3rd and 3 on the Raiders' 33. We run Boston Scott to the left for 5 yards. Brings up 1st and 10 on the Raiders' 28. Hurts is in the gun. Drops back. And Gallaku beats Malata deep, forcing Hurts to step up. Crosby beats Johnson inside, tackles Hurts. Hurts tries to shuffle past the ball to Scott in desperation before being sacked, but it's just not far enough. Fortunately, it falls incomplete and it is intercepted. But I guess he technically avoids a stack, so it's a good stat play. So that brings up 2nd and 10 on the Raiders' 28. Hurts in the gun again. Has good protection. Smith is open in a similar pattern on the other side of the field, but he chooses to throw it to Boston Scott over the middle for 5 yards. Brings up 3rd and 5 on the Raiders' 23. Hurts in the gun again. And Goaku beats Malata inside, pressuring Hurts. Hurts this time, instead of running out, stands tall, throws a quick, accurate pass to Devontae Smith, who's open in another curl pattern. 6-yard completion. First down on the Raiders' 17. Hurts is in the gun again. He drops back, and Goaku beats Malata outside again, forcing Hurts to roll right. Hurts misses Scott wide open in the flat and instead throws it away. And I think Scott was maybe 2 or 3 yards in front of the sticks. You know what, Julio? I don't watch baseball. I spend too much time watching football. When football's not on, I relax. I guess I would go with. I guess I go with the Astros. When's the last time they're Houston, right? When's the last time they won a championship? Oh, first opening run, home run in history. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I don't follow baseball, so I apologize. I'm a football guy, and that's about it. Okay, so after that incomplete pass, that throwaway brings up 2nd and 10 on the Raiders' 17. Hurts in the gun again, drops back. Nassib beats Dillard inside, forcing Hurts to roll right. He does a good job avoiding Nassib. After he avoids Nassib, Thomas comes at him, so he continues to roll right. He misses Smith standing at the 10-yard line wide open, throws in the end zone for Watkins. They didn't replay this on the broadcast, and the views that I had wasn't conclusive, so I don't know if it got knocked down. But I don't think it was dropped by Watkins. Watkins does a great job. He's probably the best receiver we have as far as hands. He's made some really good catches. Devontae Smith has too, but he's dropped a couple. So I'm thinking it got blocked or knocked down. So, but again, misses Devontae Smith wide open at the 10-yard line. So that brings up 3rd and 10, the Raiders 17. Hurts in the gun. He drops back. Farrell beats Malata with an inside spin move, forces Hurts to roll right. He gets away from Farrell. Now he's got Jefferson bearing down on him. He throws up a jump ball. This is the one that you were talking about, Julio, right? Where there's 3 guys. Yeah, right here. This is what I'm talking about now. He throws a jump ball to Rager. Not a real good pass. Just kind of throws it up. Right as he gets hit by Jefferson in the chest. And Rager, like I said, known in my opinion in college for contested catches, actually jumps up, actually catches the ball, and runs in the end zone for a touchdown. So great play by Rager. I guess a decent throw by Hurts, but just a poor job by Malata, poor game by Malata. So we decided to go for 2. Hurts is in the gun again. He throws I don't know if he's in the gun, but he drops back, has good protection, throws a quick, accurate throw to Goddard, who's wide open in the right corner of the end zone. So we succeed on the 2-point attempt, makes the score 33-22 in favor of the Raiders. That was a 12-play, 75-yard drive. Took 3 minutes and 27 seconds off the clock. Go Birds. So for the second time in the game, we try an onside kick. We fail. Moreau covers it up at the 44. So they get the ball 1st and 10 on our 44. They run Drake to the right for 3 yards. We call our 3rd timeout with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game. 2nd and 7 on our 48. They run Drake to the left for 1 yard. Brings up 3rd and 6 on our 40. They run Drake up the middle for 1 yard. Brings up 4th and 5. They get a delay of game on 4th and 5. They're probably trying. I don't recall this play, but they're probably trying to get us to jump. 4th and 10, they punt. We get the ball 1st and 10 on our 9 with 2:06 left in the game. Hurts in the gun, has good protection. Throws a quick, accurate pass over the middle to Watkins for 10 yards. That brings up the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 on our 19. Hurts in the gun again, has good protection. Throws a quick, accurate pass to Rager for 8 yards. Brings up 2nd and 2 on our 27. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back, has good protection. Is looking deep, but no one's open. Rolls right. Goddard turns and runs downfield and is open. Hurts throws on the run, but the pass is too far. So just inches, a couple of times, just inches away from some really good plays. Thinking about that Watkins deep throw, just a couple of feet too far. I guess I would say, I don't know if I 100% agree when Jalen Hurts says when things get rolling, it's going to be sweet. It will be sweet if things get rolling, but it's much more than just our offense. So that ball falls incomplete, 3rd and 2 on our 27. Hurts in the gun again, has good protection. Throws a quick, accurate pass to the right to Devontae Smith for 7 yards. Brings up 1st and 10 on our 34. Hurts in the gun again. He has good protection. He's looking deep. Misses Goddard open. Rolls right just as Thomas pulls away from Kelsey and has to throw it away. Brings up 2nd and 10 on our 34. Hurts in the gun again. Has good protection. Throws a quick, accurate throw to the right to Gainwell for 6 yards. Brings up 3rd and 4 on our 40. Hurts is in the gun. He drops back. And Ngakoue beats Dillard inside, forcing Hurts to scramble right. Hurts misses Stoll wide open at the first down marker and is tripped up from behind by Ngakoue for a sack and a 6-yard loss on 3rd and 4. Had he just dumped it off to Stoll, perhaps this drive continues. And Stoll steps out of bounds, so stops the clock as well. But he doesn't. We got a 4th and 10 on our 34, so Hurts is in the gun. He drops back. Jefferson bull rushes Driscoll, pushes him back, spins inside, grabs Hurts' shoulder as he's climbing the pocket, and Hurts throws the ball away. So we give the ball over on downs, 1st and 10 on our 34. They kneel, and unfortunately, that is the game. We lose 33-22. All right, let's talk about a couple of stats here. So the starters on offense were Jalen Hurts, of course. Miles Sanders started, but then he got injured, right? He only played 17% of the snaps. Gainwell played 51. Boston Scott got 33. Dallas Goedert, of course, started at tight end. Richard Rodgers, and played 93% of the snaps. Richard Rodgers was in there for 10%. Jack Stoll for 19. Your starting wide receivers, which again I would seriously consider changing if I were the Eagles. Devonta Smith, Quez Watkins, and Jalen Reagor. I say pull Reagor. I don't know. I don't know if we put Arcega-Whiteside in here. Although again, I'm a big tall wide receiver guy, and I think he's the tallest we've got. But maybe give Greg Ward put Greg Ward in the slot and Smith and Watkins outside. Starting offensive line: Mailata, Kelsey, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, and Jack Driscoll. Lane Johnson did come out for a few plays. He played 84%, and Dillard played the other 16. On defense, starting defensive line: Josh Sweat, Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, and Derek Barnett. Sweat was in there 74% of the time, just like Hargrave was in there 74% of the time. Fletcher Cox, 85. Derek Barnett, 85. And, I didn't look at the size of Derek Barnett or the speed. But, I wouldn't be adverse to him moving to linebacker. Well, he runs a 4.8, so maybe not. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Jordan Howard, right? So that's what I'm saying. I would much rather, I'd much rather a backfield of Jordan Howard and Kenneth Gainwell than Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott. I think we give Howard a shot now, and we did protect him on the practice squad. So maybe they're thinking about elevating him to the active. They have until I think 90 minutes before the game to activate him. So Derek Barnett may be too slow to be a linebacker. 4.8 is awfully slow, but you never know. Hassan Ridgeway got 29%. Kerrigan was in there 20%. Milton Williams 27%. Teron Jackson in there 6% of snaps. Starting linebackers were Jannard Avery, Davion Taylor, and T.J. Edwards. Second week in a row that Alex Singleton has not started, but has gotten more snaps than any other linebacker. He had 56%, while Avery, the starter, had 42. Taylor had 55, and Edwards 41. And then Eric Wilson was in there for 33. Steve Nelson, Darius Slay played 100% of the snaps. Avonte Maddox was in there 71%. McLeod and Epps played 100%. And Anthony Harris was not in. He was injured. I forgot to mention Mailata, Kelsey, Dickerson, and Jack Driscoll all played 100% of the game as well. Hurts ended 18 for 34, which is a completion percentage of 52.9%. Below average, pretty poor. But this time I would say that, there were a handful of throws that were his fault, right? And he did miss a couple of receivers. But I don't know that I would say he had that horrible of a game. He had 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked twice. He lost 13 yards on those sacks. His quarterback rating was 94.7. He also rushed for 13 times for 61 yards. It's a 4.7 average. Didn't get any touchdowns running either. I honestly, in the beginning of the year, I thought we would have released Boston Scott. Yeah, Sanders, Gainwell, and Howard. Yeah, I honestly, if you early on in the season when we were talking about who was on the bubble in training camp, I thought Boston Scott was on the bubble. And he hasn't played very much at all until Sanders got hurt. But I thought Boston Scott was going to get cut. I thought we would keep. I don't remember who got injured. If it was Kerryon Johnson or the other guy that we had, but I thought we'd keep one of those guys. Not because I thought they were significantly better, but just because I knew what Boston Scott could do. He was mediocre. He played in reserve for Sanders last year when he was hurt, and he didn't do anything special. So, yeah, I thought Boston Scott was on the bubble to begin with. Okay, so Hurts had those rushing yards. Miles Sanders had 6 rushes for 30 yards, averaging 5 a carry, 1 target, 1 reception, 3 yards lost on that 1 reception. As a team, we ran the ball 32 times, which is way better than the 19 and the handful in previous times. 13 of those were by Hurts, but we did get 135 yards rushing, which is decent. Our top receiver was Devontae Smith. He was targeted 9 times, had 5 receptions for 61 yards. That's a 12.2 average. Dallas Goedert had 5 targets, 3 receptions, 70 yards. That's a 23.3 average. On third down, we were 6 for 13, which is 46.2%. Not very good. The Raiders were 3 for 9. Oh, excuse me. The Raiders were 3 for 9, which is 33% on third down. So our defense did a good job on third down. We were 2 for 3 on fourth down, 66.7%. Not bad. They were 1 for 1 on fourth down. So that's, one chance. We should have stopped them, though. Our red zone offense was 3 for 4. So when we were in the red zone, we converted a touchdown 3 out of 4 times. So that's good. The goal to go was 1 for 2. That's not bad. The Raiders were 4 for 6 in the red zone at 67%, and they were 3 for 3 in goal to go. So our defense really needs to work on that. They had more yards overall. It wasn't a significant difference. They had 442. We had 358. We outrushed them. We had 135. They had 119, and they outpassed us by 100 yards. We had 223. They had 223. They had the ball longer than we did, about 5 minutes longer. We had the ball for 27 minutes, 29 seconds. They had it 32-31, and that solidifies us at the 31st spot in the league for time of possession. I mentioned this last time on the podcast. There's some misconceptions about our rushing defense, and we are 29th in the league in rushing yards per game against our defense. However, we're 9th in yards per rush. So the reason we are so poor in rushing defense's total yards is because teams get up on us early and then they run the ball to run the clock out. But 9th in yards per rush, I think at exactly 4 yards, isn't bad. 9th in the league is pretty decent. Now, on the other side of the coin, it seems like we're good in passing yards per game, right? We're 11th in passing yards per game. That seems pretty good. Again, teams are very efficient when they pass against us. We are 32nd in opponent passing completion percentage. Opponents are completing their passes at 74%, above 74% against us. And that includes Sam Darnold that didn't even complete 60. He was 56.8. And frankly, and Matt Ryan that was only at 60. We've had Derek Carr recently, 31 of 34. That's 91%. Tom Brady, 81%. Patrick Mahomes, 80. Dak Prescott, 80.8. Garoppolo, 73.3. We're awful because of that soft zone. Now, I know this might be a revolutionary thought, and maybe, Gannon would laugh at me for saying this, but why the hell don't we try man? Why don't we try man with 2 safeties over top? Why don't we try bumping receivers off the line to ruin all these timing patterns? Why don't we try blitzing? right? Now, when you blitz, you probably have to probably have to play zone. But why don't we try some corner blitzes? On the occasion that we've run them, they haven't been 100% successful, but we've gotten close. So how about we run some corner blitzes and we bump their receivers off the line. We chuck them real hard off the line to slow them down, so that we have a little more time to get in there and get the quarterback. The only way that we're going to win games and we're going to have a good defense is if we put pressure on opposing quarterbacks and don't let them complete 80+% percentage of their passes. We need to do a much better job. Jalen Hurts also needs to make quicker decisions, and he has to settle for the short routes when appropriate, which is 3/4 of the game. He does have the fourth most time to throw at 3.01 seconds. So you could argue that our offensive line had a rough game this past game, but overall he's had more time than only 3 other people in the NFL when he's had the ball. Jameis Winston, Lamar Jackson, and Zach Wilson have had more time to throw. And in addition to having the fourth most time to throw, he has the 5th lowest completion percentage at 61.2. He's only beating Trevor Lawrence, Jameis Winston, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields. So not a lot of not a bunch of tough people to beat. So he's got to do a better job at getting rid of the ball more quickly. I think his accuracy is there. It's just a matter of him waiting, looking for that deep throw. And now maybe that's partially because we've been so far behind and he wants those quick hits. But why not try something different? Why not get those high percentage accurate passes? Just chunk it down the field instead of trying to go for the whole thing every play. Some Eagles news, right? Some injury report stuff. Miles Sanders had that ankle injury early in the game. Most likely won't play against Detroit. Lane Johnson left the game early because of an ankle injury. He was stepped on. Somebody stepped on his ankle. Safety Anthony Harris and guard Jack Anderson are also questionable this week. Now, last week, the Eagles opened up the 20-day practice window for Tyree Jackson and Kayvon Wallace. Kayvon Wallace wasn't doing anything remarkable, but it gives us some depth at safety. But Tyree Jackson is, I've talked about him a little bit, last year, Jalen Hurts did significantly better in his 4 starts. Climbed the pocket better, got rid of the ball more quickly, all around played better the last 4 games of last season than he did this year. It makes me wonder if maybe it's the coaching, right? Because Peterson was a former quarterback and maybe was able to coach him up a little bit more. But I mentioned Tyree Jackson. The 21-day practice when it was open, I think maybe not 7 days ago, but it was last week. So we're running out of time for him to get onto the active roster. So hopefully he does, and he's able to make a difference. The snap count on Carson Wentz, he played 100% of the offensive snaps versus the 49ers. So that means he's played 98.9% of Colts offensive snaps through week 7. So we're on target for that second rounder to become a first. Again, assuming that all snap counts are equal in every game, which they're not, he would need to go 12 games and 3/4 of a game if they don't make the playoffs for us to get that first rounder. If they make the playoffs, he just has to get through 12 games. Again, assuming all snap counts are equal. I would think that snap counts would be lower in games without him, but no one knows, right? A couple of roster moves. We did trade Joe Flacco to the Jets for a 2022 conditional 6th round pick. It becomes a 5th round if Flacco plays more than 50% of the snaps in 4 games this year. Yeah. Well, and our staff is new to being coaches. The majority of our guys, Sirianni and the position coaches, were all promoted in their movement to Philadelphia. So they're all relatively new at what they're doing. And none of them have been quarterback. And I love Doug Peterson, and I was not in favor of him getting fired. But I love Doug Peterson partially because he was formerly a quarterback, and he wasn't a starting quarterback, and that's, I think, is valuable. Because starting quarterbacks, can rely on their athleticism. If they're just a physically gifted quarterback, they can rely on their athleticism to do well. If you're not physically gifted to the level to get that carry you to a first-string quarterback, you got to be smart, right? And to stick around the league for a long time. I'm still bummed out that we got rid of Peterson, and maybe Peterson could have done something different this year, but that's all hindsight. So we signed quarterback Reed Sinnett off waivers from Miami. He's 6'4", 225. Played college at San Diego. In his senior year, he completed 66.9% of his passes for 3,528 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He was an undrafted free agent with Tampa Bay in 2020 and spent time on Tampa Bay and Miami's practice squads. We signed long snapper Rick Lovato to the active roster. We had moved him off to make room for, I think for Reed Sinnett. And then we got rid of, and then we moved him off. We got rid of Flacco and put him back on. We signed safety Jared Maiden to the practice squad. He's 6 feet, 205 pounds. Runs a 4.36 40, which I think would be one of the fastest guys on the team. Started 11 of 36 games that he played in Alabama, and his final season he ranked second in the SEC with 4 picks. We released corner Michael Jaquette from the practice squad, who had he struggled all last year. I think we were keeping him on the practice squad just because of familiarity. And then we protected the following practice squad players: wide receiver John Hightower, running back Jordan Howard, safety Elijah Riley, and tight end Richard Rodgers. I'm thinking the running back Jordan Howard, hopefully Hightower instead of Rager, and Richard Rodgers make it up to the active roster, but we'll see. A little bit of NFL news. NFL is adding enhancements to the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule is that you have to interview a minority coach, but now you must hold one in-person interview with external minority candidate for head coach or GM. The combine is going to be moving around. I don't think Hightower was a tight end. I thought he was always a wide receiver. I'd have to look that up, but I thought Hightower's always been a wide receiver. The combine will be moving. We talked about this a few months ago. It's still going to be in Indianapolis in 2022, but in 2023, it's up for bids from Dallas, LA, or Indianapolis. And they said that the athlete experience is going to improve. I'm not sure exactly what that means. All right. Go Birds. That brings us to the Bald Eagle Fact. One of my favorite parts of the show. I get to go look back at old time stuff, right? Old things that happened to the Eagles. I'm a huge Eagles fan, so learning more about them is exciting to me. I go back to the original few years of the Eagles. I look at some of their Hall of Famers. I look at some of their draft classes all the way back to the beginning. And this time I'm going to look at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think the Eagles have 11 players in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The fifth one to be inducted was Pete Pihos. We've already looked at the first 4. So we're going to go with the fifth Eagle inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that was Pete Pihos. That's right, go Birds. Pete Pihos played college at the Indiana University. He played offensive end and fullback from 1942 to 1946. One year he did not play was 1944. He was drafted into the Army for World War II. He served in the 35th Infantry Division under George S. Patton. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant, and he was awarded the Bronze Star and the Silver Star for bravery. He was then selected by the Eagles in the 5th round, 41st overall in the 1945 NFL Draft. He didn't actually play immediately because he wanted to finish his college career. So he actually played end and defensive end from 1947 for the Eagles to 1955. The first 3 seasons that he was in the league, the Eagles made it to the NFL Championship. That was 1947, 1948, and 1949. In 1947, in the playoff game against Pittsburgh, he blocked a punt that set up the first touchdown in a 21-0 win. The Eagles then ended up losing to the Chicago Cardinals that year in the 1947 NFL Championship. In 1948, his 766 receiving yards and 11 receiving touchdowns were second most in the NFL. He helped the Eagles win their first NFL championship, 7-0 versus the Chicago Cardinals, which is a rematch from the game from the year earlier, right? In 1949, he was tied for first in receptions and second in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns for the Eagles. In the 1949 NFL Championship, he scored the only offensive touchdown on a 31-yard touchdown reception in the second quarter. The Eagles went to beat the LA Rams in the 1949 NFL Championship 14-0. That was their second consecutive NFL championship, and they're the only team, to my knowledge, to have won 2 NFL championships in a shutout, consecutive. In 1951, he led the Eagles in receptions and receiving yards, had 2 interceptions as a defensive end. In 1952, his offensive production dropped. He only caught 12 passes, had 1 touchdown as an end, but he still made the Pro Bowl and earned first-team All-Pro honors as a defensive end. So the Eagles front office started to wonder, I wonder if he's getting washed up as I guess he would have been a tight end, but as an end, offensive end. He was aware that they were concerned. He was aware that that they would make him exclusively an end, which would cut his pay. So during the offseason in 1950, prior to the 1953 season, he trained heavily to improve his performance. The next 3 seasons, he crushed it. In in the next 3 seasons, he had 185 receptions, 2,785 yards, and 27 touchdowns. That actually is very similar. Those 3 seasons, his final 3 seasons, were very similar to his first 6, where he had 188 receptions, 2,834 yards, and 34 touchdowns. So what he did in 3 years, what he did the first 6. In those next 3 years, he led the NFL in receptions each year, in receiving yards twice, and in receiving touchdowns once. In 1953, he became the 3rd ever player to achieve the receiving Triple Crown, which means he led the NFL in receptions with 63, he led the NFL with receiving yards with 1,049, and he led the NFL in receiving touchdowns with 10. He retired after the 1955 NFL season, playing 9 years and missing only 1 game. He was selected to the Pro Bowl 6 times in his career. He was a 5-time first-team All-Pro. He was a 3-time NFL reception leader, a 2-time NFL receiving yard leader, and a 1-time NFL receiving touchdown leader. He was the Pro Football Hall of Fame All 1940s team. He was a 2-time NFL champion. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1966, first player to be inducted from Indiana. And he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1970. No, I did not see what Deshaun Jackson said about Chip releasing him. But I'm sure it wasn't good, right? Chip Kelly made a couple of bad decisions. I mean, what LaShawn McCoy was upset that he was released too. So I don't know that anybody's real happy about getting released, right? But that is our Bald Eagle fact of the day. The fifth Eagle to be inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Pete Pihos. So do me a favor. Go to Philly Sports Alliance and watch all their shows. Like Philly Sports Alliance, follow them, comment. I appreciate all the comments I've been getting from you, Julio, and all the other people that have been commenting. I love that it's interactive. But go look up all Philly Sports Alliance's show. So Monday, and we got you all covered. We have you informed on almost every aspect of sports in and out of the Philadelphia area. So on Monday at 6, you have the Football Smack Talk show with Ryan Reese and Eric Ward. That's an all football show. Talks about the whole NFL. Mondays at 7:30, you have the Diamond Club podcast with John Hunter, Chris Lahiff, and Danny Hart. That's all Phillies. So if you're a Phillies fan, tune into that show. Tuesdays at 6:30, we have the Philly Broadcast with Ryan Reese and Ryan Finneran. That's a Philly sports show. So they talk about all 4 Philly sports, Sixers, Eagles, Flyers, and Phillies. Wednesdays at 6, you are glued to whatever social media you prefer to watch me on. The Bald Eagle Podcast, 100% Philadelphia Eagles, with the most in-depth play-by-play analysis. After my show at 8 o'clock, you got Mixed Sports. It's an all-football show with Eric Ward and Jay Landry. Eric Ward, I believe, is an Eagles fan. Jay Landry is a Cowgirls fan, so that's very interesting. But they cover the whole NFL. Thursdays at 5:30, we have Tendies on Pattison. That is a Flyers show featuring Paul Batcho, Jack Griffin, and Chris Lahiff. And last but not least, Thursdays at 7, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, featuring Eric Ward and Joe Barry. That is a wrestling show, so get your wrestling fix on those shows. So check them all out. Look everybody up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube. Now, if you're going to look me up on any of those channels, is that yeah. Well, just like who's looking forward to the Detroit game? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. The guy who's looking forward to going back to Detroit this week. I can't think of it. Can't think of who it is. But yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to come back and show off your team? Show them what they missed out on. So yeah, do me a favor, follow all those people on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Again, if you search me, I'm Bald Eagle 4133 on most social media, or you have to type in the Bald Eagle Podcast. I'm not popular enough that if you type in the Bald Eagle, you're going to see some actual Eagles, not Philadelphia Eagles. So, all right, that's it for me. Go Birds.